Yo, what's going on, guys? My name's Cast. Welcome back to another episode reaction of Solo Leveling. This time I'm on episode 3. Now, I wanted to do something a little bit different for this intro. I will say if you're the most spoiler sensitive person in the world, please skip the intro of this video because I'm going to be discussing some things. I'm going to keep it insanely spoiler free, but like if you're the most sensitive person to that in the world, you've been warned. But honestly, all of you that are anime only should be just fine to hear this. So I've been seeing some discussion online lately, especially on Twitter, about what people think so far of Solo Leveling, and a lot of the responses I'm reading are that it's a very generic show. I really think that this is a classic case of judging it too soon, because while yes, I will be the first to admit that there are a lot of very generic tropey things, everything about the video game, this episode by the way titled It's Like a Game, yes, it is generic in some sense of the word. There is some familiarity. There's nothing wrong with having some familiarity in shows, but I digress. Yes, there are some tropey generic things about it. But as this series goes on, if you can just ignore that voice in your head that's calling this generic and just wait a little bit longer, as somebody that's read the original manhwa, I can tell you, and not all of it, but granted I've only read some of it, we'll get back to that, this show really expands outward as it goes along. The first few episodes and the first few probably arcs of this, I don't exactly know if I can pick a point in which this applies, but eventually it really does expand outward to a level that is honestly pretty impressive. The world building and the lore especially is going to be something that really catches people off guard, I think, especially if they're underestimating the show this early in. The problem is though, unfortunately, that I think this will be labeled as a generic show going forward by everybody because probably not everybody is going to stick through all of it. And that's quite the shame in my eyes because I know the direction the story takes and it impressed me when I first read it, and I think will impress a lot of other people too. So hopefully the generic thing doesn't stick too long. Hopefully people will see that there's more to this. I just think it would be a shame for the series to get a reputation like that when it hasn't yet had the chance to really express itself all that much. So if you're one of those people that thinks it's a bit generic so far, I would say let it cook. I would say that let it cook applies to a lot of things in this series, and as you'll see, it'll start to make sense eventually, and we'll see what you think by the end of it. With that being said, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Let's watch episode 3. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention in the intro, I guess because it was a bit different. Apparently, this scene made the voice actor like cough up blood because of how intense it was when recording, which is crazy and very cool. You can never say this man did not suffer. Those audio effects. Yeah, so the question is, who dragged him out of there? He's gonna think it was just a dream, maybe? It would be what you think. That's actually kind of trippy. Oh no. Attractive men in suits. This would be horrifying to wake up in a hospital bed after a memory like that and just to have like the CIA greeting you. Like, damn, give me a second before you abduct me and kill me. He might do okay. Guy's got a good sense about him. Oh, she's been traumatized. Oh, damn. Also, apparently a lot of you guys in the comment section were surprised at how I reacted to that last episode because, I don't know, maybe it was because I knew how it played out or something, but I guess a lot of people thought that they ran outside the room and died, that it was part of a trap or something. I never got that from that scene. Maybe I wasn't paying close enough attention, or like I said, maybe I just remembered how that ended up. But yeah, these poor people are not going to be doing well. At least they made it out alive. All right, it's more than some people can say. So people did go back in and figure out what that was. I wonder if they sent like S-ranks in. And somehow you're still alive. That one guy is from the beginning cutscene. He was like the brawler, right? Oh, everything disappeared. Wow. Yeah, it's pretty unbelievable. Caught on pretty quickly. What gives him the basis to accuse him of that? Oh, so there is precedent for it. It has happened before. Yeah, you'd almost feel like you had to if you were the weakest of all time. But he is still a low-level hunter, isn't he? Oh wow, Sung, you're not gonna believe this. It actually says right here, you're still dog shit. That's so interesting. And also, by the way, if you listen to my intro, that is exactly the type of thing I'm saying. The whole statue room is already alluding to a much bigger thing going on. Obviously, that's going to be a recurring plot point at some point. What exactly was that? A statue of like religious deities and gods? Like if you actually think about it, it's quite strange and there's probably a lot of meaning packed into it. It's just one of those things that when watching shows, I try and grasp onto something like that because usually that's a pretty good indicator of something to come. So only he can see that. Yeah. He remembers now. Courage of the weak. He's a faster reader than I am, I'll tell you what. I'm doing this for you, you know. Although, to be fair, saying everybody else was fine in this case is not exactly accurate. She should be very grateful he's alive. It's quite literally a miracle. That's the joke I was about to make, Gina. I will not pause and make the joke now. Brain damage. Strength training has arrived. What's up with this girl? I don't like her. She's kind of annoying. I like how he's just not questioning his sanity either. Every other reactor just made a One Punch Man joke. Imagine you get a literal God-given quest to work out and you say, you know what? I'm just not feeling it today. Maybe tomorrow. I'll take that penalty though. These guys report directly to the top. These guys remind me so much of the suit guys in God of High School, but this show is so much better than God of High School. The series is. I said it. Yeah, the people that literally can't get stronger will be inspired, and that will help them somehow. I find it so interesting that he says the rank can't be reevaluated, like it can't be increased at any point. So even if you actually get better, like you get more actual skills to use to fight, or you get better weaponry or whatever, you still can't go up in a rank. I guess just because the power can't change. That's a very closed-minded system, I gotta say. Some people can get probably way better than they initially were, just based off of their technique. So we'll be ready when the time comes. For what? A dungeon break, I guess? Or is he expecting something way bigger to happen someday? So they're like sinkholes. They just kind of appear. Imagine you're just sitting in your bedroom and playing a video game and a gate to another dimension opens up behind you. Oh god. Did a gate appear in his bedroom and warp him to an alternate dimension? Did a sinkhole literally come into his room? The whole house was vibrating because it was falling into the sinkhole / gate? That's crazy. Crazy timing. I remember this, actually. It's coming back to me. Good luck! You accidentally take a warp chest in Elden Ring and end up in an area way later in the game. So it literally pulls him from his world and puts him somewhere else. He doesn't even have a weapon. What is he supposed to do against that? He really gets saved by the bell pretty often, doesn't he? That's twice in a row he's made it to the very last second. At least he'll take this more seriously now. Why is he covered in sand? Is this strange? Don't bring this girl in any more raids. I mean, maybe it could heal her confidence, but the trauma doesn't seem like it's a good idea. You gotta go get dinner. Hopefully she didn't drop that gemstone when she was knocked unconscious. He's working hard. There you go. He's like a normal civilian, they said, so he probably doesn't heal that much faster, if his power level meant anything. That's sick. That's so cool. Working out would be amazing if you could just do that afterward. Leveling up. What are y'all staring at, huh? That's so sick. It's a key. Now you just have to buy a case off the Steam market and hopefully get a knife. Teleporting to an instance dungeon? I wish they would spend a little more time to show what the actual prompts say. I imagine that's gonna irritate some people. So how do they know how they're ranked? Do they just look differently? Or do you have to go in to find out how it's ranked? You just have to send your strongest people in each time, or what? I wish I remember the answers to that, if there is an answer to that. Final rest. Interesting. So I don't remember what that is exactly. That's one of the details I just don't even remember about the show, but immediately draining people makes me think that maybe they're using like their life force to open the portals, right? Like someone's life force is taken as sort of like toll or sacrifice, or it is literally the fuel that's used to sustain the gates, maybe. I don't really know. That's just my first guess on what they've given me. It's no coincidence that it happened when gates started. You could just level up his strength and be a killer construction worker. Just carry like 30 bags at once. Dude, this score is so good. It's unreal. It's like a fairly mundane scene, actually, but he's just recalling some things while doing this, but the music makes it so epic. Strength build. I respect that. Oh, damn. Okay. I don't know if... So, does he open a gate that everybody can come in, or it's only him? That's actually terrifying. You're in there alone. No healer, no nothing. That's so cool. The instance dungeons. So it begins. Yep, nobody else can come in, and you can't go out. Okay. Disregard what I just said. This is already the type of stuff I was talking about when I said how cool the setting of the show is. You're able to have downtown Seoul battles, right? He's fighting in the subway station, or he will be soon, and everybody else can coexist alongside of that. It doesn't have to be like Shibuya Incident where everything's getting destroyed and everything. No, he can simultaneously have a fantasy world and a real world completely overlapped at the same time, and that is awesome. And also the mention of red gates. More to it there. I would be terrified if I were you at this point. I guess nothing is going to be scarier than that S rank dungeon, or the statue, whatever you want to call it. Everything else is light work after that. Come on, let's see it. Yeah, one of these wrecked him before. I wonder if he's worked on his speed at all. If he's only on strength. This animation's cool. It's different. There's a lot of space they have to fill with the choreographing of fight scenes. So it's interesting to see how they're doing it. It looks good. You have to be mentally prepared to stab small human-looking things in the head. Alright, yeah, nice, Jinwoo. That was sick. Oh. Is that the boss? Probably. The Lycan. And now you don't have a weapon. Surprise! Trauma! Who would have thought it works like that? A little bit late to be having that realization. Oh, no way we end it there. Wow, that's actually a pretty good cliffhanger. Man, that felt like it went by really, really fast. I guess a lot did happen. I love this ending, by the way. The opening still has some work to do to win me over, but I love this ending. Especially the visuals, so cool. So yeah, that basically begins the actual story of Solo Leveling. I would say the first 2 episodes act as a bit of a prologue. That's not an official opinion, right? That's just my opinion. The real story basically starts now. Sung Jinwoo has undergone what appears to be a second awakening. I'm not exactly sure if it is technically one of those or not, but he has a new ability that allows him to level up whenever he completes challenges or quests, and he gets rewards from that, like the key that took him to the dungeon we were at the end of the episode. So in a sense, he has basically found himself to be an RPG character in a real world, which is also another thing I really like, because a lot of people will label the show as generic for the RPG system, but I think it's really cool, and it adds a really different dynamic when he is the only one under the rules of this system that he has now. I think it does a really good job of sparking the imagination of the viewers, as we already start to wonder, how will Sung Jin-woo change? How will he evolve as his stats go up? What will change about him physically, mentally? How will other people that have known him as the world's weakest hunter react to him suddenly becoming stronger? There's a lot of really cool paths they could explore here, especially since I mentioned that once you have a rank, you don't get your rank reevaluated. But of course, he's gonna get stronger, so eventually you think he would not be an E-rank hunter anymore. I'm fairly impressed with the pacing of the episode. They actually went through quite a lot, but they still gave us a lot of information and they're moving through it fairly quickly. A lot of it was information dump, but we actually did manage to get into the next dungeon by the end of the episode. Things are happening fast enough that you won't get bored, but they're also not happening too fast to where you don't know what's going on anymore. At least that was my first impression of it. Let me know what you guys think of the pacing. This might not be for everybody. Maybe some people think it's too fast or bouncing around too much. I personally don't have a problem with it. I think it kind of needs to, because I think it wants to get to the good part. With that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, let me know what you think, and I'll see you again next week.